The giant explosion aftermath, leaving an entire community in shock. Thank you for joining us for 7 News Detroit at 5. I'm Glenda Lewis.
And I'm Simon Shaquette. In the last hour, we learned critical new information about what unfolded at the condo explosion in Orion Township. Our viewers sharing the horrifying moments when their homes began shaking and they started scrambling for safety. 7
News Detroit racing to the scene, keeping a distance as we slowly learn 2 people were seriously hurt and dozens displaced. Right now, so many questions remain. We have team coverage starting right now with 7 News Detroit reporter Darren Cunningham live in Orion Township. And Darren, what are you learning?
Yes, good evening. We actually have some good news as it relates to the conditions of those victims in this tragedy here, but we'll get to that in a moment. Behind me here, you'll see the fencing that they have up. Crews put this fencing up this afternoon around the building, the main building that was impacted here, the explosion, as well as the secondary building that was also part of this explosion. Several other buildings obviously impacted and people having to evacuate those buildings. Now, the fire chief says his crew started a big methodical dig this morning in order to be able to start the investigation. We were at that press conference a short moment ago over at the Orion Township Hall. Fire chief says that fire officials, along with the ATF, the county sheriff, and many other agencies created a 3D map of the scene, which will also help with the investigation. Now, 18 units were completely destroyed, while another 12 units are being questioned for their stability. As for the 2 people who were injured in this, seriously injured, critically injured, quote, we are seeing improvements in their health. That is what the fire chief says. Now, all day consumers energy crews were going around. And so this is a potential gas explosion, gas leak explosion. And so the Sheriff Bouchard actually spoke about that.
Our deputies were wandering around the scene, getting statements and talking to folks, and one woman did say she believes she smelled gas before it happened. So that's going to be part of the investigation with the chief's team and my team, as he mentioned, cause and origin, but that obviously is an indicator if somebody thought they smelled it. And that'd be the point when you move yourself away from it, because you don't want to initiate anything electrical with.
All right, so all day Consumers Energy crews were going through, checking the gas lines. Chris Fultz, the Consumers Energy Vice President, he also spoke at the press conference. He says the company has ruled out any faults on consumers. Listen in.
Then we perform standard checks on our system. So on our infrastructure to determine, is our system intact, are there any abnormalities? And those checks were completed, our system was intact, and no abnormalities found. So.
All right, Darren.
All right, so I wanted to talk more about the conditions of those victims. One victim is in guarded condition, which is between a serious and stable condition, and the other victim, we're told, is in non-critical but stable condition. So good news there. Glenda.
All right, Darren. Yeah, that is some good news. So what about the investigation and how long it's expected to take?
Oh yeah, and so Fire Chief Ryan Allen, he mentioned that this is going to be slow and methodical. He says this will not be rushed, but he mentioned that, you know, they're doing quite a few things to even get to the point to start the investigation. So he says it could be 1 week, about a week, before they even know the origin of this blast.
Yeah, unimaginable. Darren, thank you for the update from out on the scene.